On behalf of Indo-Vietnam Medical Board, I welcome all of you in this video message. Myself Rekha Agarwal, Diabetes Reversal and Lifestyle Consultant. You must be aware of this guidelines as it has changed treatment protocol of diabetes and your doctor will not tell you about this. This new guideline is released by American College of Physicians on 6 March 2018 and is published in Annals of Internal Medicine Journal. This new guideline has become a boon for diabetes patients as if it is implemented fully. Then about 70% of the people who are diabetic and taking medicines will be declared as non-diabetic. They will be off medication. They will be called healthy person. In simple terms, this new guidelines suggest if you are able to maintain an average blood sugar level less than or equal to 250 milligram per deciliter without the interference of medicine, you are not a diabetic patient. Means you need not to worry and you are not a diabetic patient at all. The second point is very much important. It suggests trying to control blood sugar with medication or insulin may give you desirable blood sugar number, but at the cost of making you more sick and increasing the chances of death. This means lowering blood sugar do not equally translate into good health. When you take medicines to lower blood sugar level number, it creates a different biochemistry. Means it is something different than in comparison to when you keep your blood sugar level low or normal naturally. This new diabetes guideline challenged decades old guidelines which are being followed by diabetologists and clinicians worldwide. What was happening till now? Doctors are following American Diabetes Association 2010 guidelines, and according to which greater than 100 milligram deciliter blood sugar level fasting, if a person has, it is termed as diabetes, and postprandial it is 140 milligram per deciliter. Means if a doctor see blood sugar level more than 100, say 125 or 130, they will insist patient to take medicines to reduce blood sugar level to 100 milligram per deciliter. They will declare you a pre-diabetic or diabetic patient and will create a fear around you that if your blood sugar level go 126, 140 or somebody will say 130, then it may lead to kidney failure, blindness, brain stroke, etc. But this new guideline is something opposite to this. Let me tell you each guidelines in simple language. Let me interpret each one by one. As per guidance statement 1, clinicians should personalize goals for glycemic control in patients with type 2 diabetes on the basis of a discussion of benefits and harms of pharmacotherapy, patient's preference, patient's general health and life expectancy, treatment burden and cost of care. This guideline suggests before you are prescribed the medicine, you must be told about the medicine, its side effects, because in most cases, by taking medication, the blood sugar of patient definitely goes down, but at the cost of making them more sick, and it reduces the life expectancy and reduces the healthy lifetime also. This means only for very small population of diabetes, the medicines can do benefit. Most of the people may take medicines and reduce blood sugar by taking medications, but that may not translate into normal or longer life expectancy. So lowering blood sugar by taking medicine may not translate into normal life expectancy or healthy life. So what we can say, less medication is better health. This guidelines is based on famous Accord trial where it was confirmed that trying to lower blood sugar level with medication less than 150 milligram per deciliter to control blood sugar level with medication may result in lowering of blood sugar level, but it increases 22% more death. 36% more cardiovascular related death, increased weight, and other side effects also. So, therefore, this guideline discourage practitioners from using medication to control blood sugar level. Here is guidance statement number 2. As per this statement, clinicians should aim to achieve an HbA1c level between 7% and 8% in most patients with type 2 diabetes. So we can interpret that if a person is able to maintain blood sugar level or in form of HbA1c level 7% to 8%, then the person is absolutely healthy. Actually, the figure here mentioned it 8%, but originally in the trial it was 8.4%. But whenever guidelines releases, the organization tries to give into whole number so that people can memorize it easily. And this guideline is based on results of UK PDS trial and VADT trial, where it was seen that maintaining HbA1c target near to 8% and 8.4% respectively is much beneficial for the patient in comparison to trying to achieve a target of HbA1c level less than 6%. And here for daily monitoring, as we uses the units of milligram per deciliter, by taking the formula from DCC trial, that is average blood sugar level, can be calculated by using HbA1c level in this formula. So by putting the value of HbA1c, the healthy range, that is 8.4%, into the formula, we get the figure of 222 milligram per deciliter. So 222 milligram per deciliter translate to achieving an HbA1c level equal to 8.4%, which is the most healthy range. But in trials, we prefer, it was assumed that the blood sample has been taken from a vein. But in home setup, we used to take sample from the glucometer, wherein we take sample from capillary or fingertip. So a capillary has 10% more glucose level as comparison to vein. Therefore, if we add 10% to 222, then it comes out to be 244 milligram per deciliter. So if a person is able to maintain an average blood sugar less than or equal to 250 milligram per deciliter without the interference of medicine, then the person is not a diabetic patient. And guidance number 3 suggests clinicians should consider de-intensifying pharmacologic therapy in patients with type 2 diabetes who achieve HbA1c level less than 6.5%. So we can interpret, while on diabetes medication or insulin, if your average blood sugar drops to 170 milligram per deciliter or 9.4 millimole per liter, then you need to taper down the medication or insulin, whatever you are taking. Actually, this guideline is the extension of statement number 2. And here the guidance is statement number 4. Clinicians should treat patients with type 2 diabetes to minimize symptoms related to hyperglycemia and avoid targeting on HbA1c level in patient with a life expectancy less than 10% due to advanced age, that is 80 years or older, residents or residing in a nursing home, or chronic condition such as dementia, cancer, end-stage kidney disease, or severe chronic obstructive pulmonary disease or congestive heart disease or heart failure, because the harm outweigh the benefits in this population. This interpretation, this assumption, or you can say this guideline, is based on VADT trial, trying to control the blood sugar level with medication or insulin among the patients older than 60 years, or especially with chronic conditions like heart disease, COPD, cancer, dementia, or increased risk of death or other adverse effect. For those patients, doctor should prescribe medicine only if patient is getting any kind of symptomatic relief, like reduction in abnormal high frequency of urination, lessening of fatigue, etc. They should not prescribe the medicine just to meet the figure. And this guidelines is based on authentic and large trials like Accord Trial, Advanced Trial 2008, UK PDS 33 1998, UK PDS 34 1998, and VADT 2005. All these trials are very much authentic. So, being a diabetes reversal and lifestyle consultant, I would like to suggest that while taking blood sugar reading, you should stick to these guidelines. So, be updated and stay safe, as medical fraternity and your doctors are not going to tell you this truth, and live healthy life forever. Thank you.